our Chairman DSCI and Chairman and co-founder NIIT Group. With a warm round of applause, can we have both of them join us on stage, and we'll have Mr. Vinayak open with the opening address, followed by Mr. Rajendra.
Thank you all for joining this 17th version of Panel Information Security Summit. The Excellence Award we started in 2011, and we know how we started and where we reached now. So 188 people responded, and also there's so many categories, and every year we come up with a new category, but that's what the security as a subject is evolving, right? Multiple disciplines, multiple sectors, multiple way of doing the security discipline. Somebody is using the security technologies and services, somebody is providing those capabilities as well. So we keep adding the awards. There are definitely some sectors which we want also to grow and improve on cybersecurity space. So we try to keep those sectors, try to encourage them basically to come and showcase and see how exactly their security stands with respect to what industry is there. So this award is the recognition, is the acknowledgement to the work that we all do. We all know this work is very sensitive, very critical. Sometimes we won't like to talk about this work that we do. But this is the event, this is the award, this is the celebration of the security profession, the privacy profession as well now. We celebrate the companies, we celebrate the startup, we celebrate the law enforcement bodies' work that they do, both from the overall work they do for the develop the capability, but more importantly, that individual police officer solving very critical, sensitive cases, and their role is very importantly recognized as a part of this award. We celebrate the startups basically in this award. We celebrate the enterprise implementation of security. We celebrate how the security service has been provided, and security service product ecosystem is being growing. And every year we try to identify the security product idea of the year. Also, we also identify security product companies, which we'll talk about what kind of awards that we celebrate. But the kind of the support that we get, and that support helps us to do more and encourage more to do to take the security subject in very different kind of a community. And we know that people come to us, why don't you start for us? Why don't you look at for us? And there are some sectors, some categories we started because of the kind of a demand that particular segment is trying to come to us. And we are really thankful for PwC to being with us to manage this process. This year jury was also quite new, at least to some extent, and they had spent quite a significant time to work with us to come up with the shortlist list and probably select the final winner as well. And we had a very good hackathon on the day one of the AISS, which we will be probably recognizing the work that security testing and hacking community has been doing basically. So I really welcome you all to this version of DSCI Excellence Award, and we hope to see all those celebrations and those kind of encouragement that you all give it to all the winners of this DSCI Excellence Award. With this, I would like, sir, you to invite for your brief comment. Thank you. Thank you for joining today.
We'd like to get started with the awards as soon as possible, and this is getting in the way. But let me just also make just a couple of points. We did hear that the number of nominations are going up to the highest ever this year, which is quite indicative of the involvement of the community in this activity, and of course of the fact that many more people are becoming part of this community. Now, I was trying to understand what else do we learn from the process of identifying our heroes and heroines. So the process of nomination, and those who have applied would know there's an extensive amount of information. And in looking at that information, there are 4 clear messages that are coming out this year, which are very encouraging by looking at the data, by where the forms are filled and so on. One is that board involvement and leadership involvement, as visible through the way the applications are done, is significantly higher this year than last year. Now, I'm sure that COVID contributed to that, but I'd like to take more of the credit from our side that it's becoming a board agenda, and many CISOs who are here. We spent a lovely long session with them, went on much longer till 10 o'clock before we started dinner last night. The pushing up of the agenda to the board and top management seen a significant increase. That's point number one. Point number two is there is much more cutting edge technology being deployed by users in this country. And that includes our startups who have new ideas. So I think our startups are being embraced by the country at a level which is very encouraging for the creation of new technology in this country. Third is that we see a significant increase in the efforts that organizations are doing for upskilling and skilling. And finally, the spends have gone up, but I think the conversations seem to indicate, the way the forms are indicating, is that companies are beginning to see it as a necessary investment, not just as a cost item or an expenditure item. So I think these are qualitative messages that come. So while our heroes are doing better, we will recognize them. I also want to say that the industry is beginning to move on the path of maturity much better. That's one message I wanted to give. The second, I wanted to just give something which I talked about in the beginning, which is our cybersecurity industry on track? Now, we had defined, many of you would recall, when the task force brought out its publication in 2016, we had looked at a 5-year roadmap, 10-year roadmap, sorry, not 5 years, but we were trying to look at a roadmap, and we were saying that by the year 25, which now we are adding a year, so up we are for the industry as well, because of the disconnections in between, that the industry, first of all, the cybersecurity component of it should reach 10% of the size of the IT industry and should reach a figure of about 35 billion. That was one data point of the scale of the industry. And the second was that about 1 million professionals should be engaged in the cybersecurity field. Now, the best estimate we have of how big the industry will be this year, by the time we finish the year, is about 15.4 billion. And that's going at a compound annual growth rate of 30%. So by 2026, we are likely to touch the 35 number that we had set out to do. And currently it's 6% of the IT industry size, but by its growth, we think this will reach the number of 10 by the year 2026. And the best estimate we have of people directly involved in this sector is 342,000. And we expect that if this grows at the number is growing in the last 3 or 4 years, they should also touch or be close to the number of 1 million. So in spite of all the things that have happened, ups and downs, sectors on track, which is the good news. And that's the second piece of thing I wanted to say. And finally, I do want to make an important, it's not an announcement, we all know it, but I want to recognize the excellent work done in this period by the outgoing CEO, Rama, who's somewhere here. Where is she? Where is she? Can she please come on the stage? Is she coming? Okay, so bring her in. Yeah, there she is, yeah. So please join me in giving her a very, very big hand to Rama. Join us on the stage. Join us on the stage. And she has given us a great successor from within the organization. And again, all of you know Vinayak, so please join me in congratulating him for taking over the baton. And all of you know both these people very well, so I don't have to say anything, except to say this is a great hallmark for an organization to build a succession from within. And, and Rama, of course, as she tells us, is always around, hovering above all of us to be available to DSCI, but also to any of you who seeks her advice. She's really, I've seen her shape into an outstanding CEO in this time. And she started her career with us at NIT many years ago. And I've admired her capabilities, and she's displayed that true grit in the role, which is the ultimate role for anyone, which is the CEO. So very hearty congratulations to you for doing what you have done, and Vinayak for you as the incoming CEO. So with that, I want to hand over to this young lady who continues to remain as young as she always was.
As we welcome him to join us.
Very good evening, and thank you for this warm welcome. First of all, I would like to congratulate the DSCI for organizing this event and hosting, I think this is the 17th in the edition of this and these awards. As a utility, transmission utility, Power Grid is, responsible for nearly 85% of the power transmitted across the country in the interstate transmission network. So the bulk generators, they produce the power, and it is our job to carry it to the distribution utilities from where you get your power. So we run a very critical infrastructure, and because of the digitization and the automation which we are seeing evolving, the issue of cyber security is extremely important for us. And I think the vast participants here with their expertise in matters related to cyber security will definitely know how vulnerable and what kind of issues are which can emerge when there is a cyber attack. So as a utility, we do our best to ensure the defenses, and also to ensure that the equipment and the systems are protecting us from any cyber attacks. We also have started investing more and more into the aspect of cyber security. So we have sponsored a center for the Power Grid Center of Excellence in Cyber Security for the grid at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. This is a recent development. And we are also taking many measures, but I think few of the issues which we face are the legacy systems, the lack of awareness in the people, the dependence on the vendors. So many developments are taking place in terms of trusted vendor protocols, developing standards, and other protocols for ensuring the cyber security of the systems. I think the challenge ahead is to balance the increase in the digitalization space, I mean the efficiencies and the cost savings arising out of digitalization, and at the same time to protect the systems from any threats. And in this context, the events like this will definitely help us to improve our knowledge, improve our ability to deal with such threats. And therefore, I once again compliment the DSCI for hosting such events, and I'm sure that their contribution to the total knowledge pool as well as the posture for preventing cyber attacks will definitely help us in the critical infrastructure sector in the coming years. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much once again for taking us through the journey and what it takes to really take those next steps that we need to. Now let's begin the awards night by first felicitating the winners of the Hackathon 2022. The hackathon was organized jointly by EY and Data Security Council of India on day one of AISS 2022. It was the 6th in the series of Capture the Flag competition. Over 100+ teams registered across the country, and a total 74 teams finally participated in the hackathon. The challenges were set around cryptography, web application security, network security, malware analysis, and reverse engineering. I'd like to invite Mr. Prashant Chaudhary, partner EY India, to please share a few words about the hackathon. Prashant, over to you.
So, thank you everyone, and it was absolutely a great opportunity from DSCI to ask EY to organize the hackathon for the 6th time in the row. And every year we had been raising the bar. This year, just to give some context, we have more than 20 researchers across the Indian and the international firm contributing to make one of the most complex and sophisticated cybersecurity challenges. So over a period of 3 months, when we made these 98 odd challenges, we were also wondering that would there be people in India who will be able to have that much of technical acumen to break these challenges which were developed by EY. Then we shortlisted the best talent across India to come and participate in the hackathon. So 74 teams, which was more than 150 people who actually were invited to come and participate. And these people were they were bug bounty hunters, they were academicians, they were researchers, they were from educational institutions, they were from corporates. So basically, and they were from all parts of India. I met people from Panipat, from Kerala, Karnataka, Delhi, of course. And it was very heartening to see that these people, they started at 9:30 in the morning and they kept on hacking till 5:30 in the evening. They did not take the break because they had a limited time to maximize the score. Every time they hacked the challenge, they were scoring, and then there was a league table which was displaying. When the results started coming in, we were astonished because we thought that maybe we may or we may not have this level of sophisticated ethical hackers in India, but what we saw gives us 3 observations. One, when we are building a $10 trillion economy in the years to come, this economy will be a digital economy. And the backbone of digital economy is cybersecurity. And when we saw these youngsters in the room, one thing is sure, that we have the talent in-house in India, which is international grade, to build the cybersecurity defense systems of our country. The second observation, which we had was the diversity in the room. There was I would say, a healthy proportionate number of both men and women in the room participating in the hackathon. And it was such an inspiring scene, and we took pictures after pictures. We spoke to so many young ladies who had come, and of course, senior ladies. And I think there is something right which we are doing as a country to promote, all types of diversity in the hackathon. And I think the third one is when we interacted with these people and we asked them that you have special skills, and what is it stopping you from using or misusing these skills? And when we had deeper interactions and engagements on the value systems of these ethical hackers, one thing is very clear, that in the days to come, when they acquire more technical skills, we are very confident that they will always be on the right side of the law. With that, I'll hand it over to Shreya again.
Let's invite our process partner on stage, Mr. Rahul Agarwal, partner PwC India. Would like to invite you to come and join us on stage. I'd also like you to address the audience. So over to you.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll take 2 minutes just to walk you through the process. We have seen how the awards have evolved in last 12 years. This is a 12th edition, and at PwC we are proud and privileged to be part of this particular DSCI Excellency Award since inception. From a journey perspective, this year journey started in the month of June when DSCI and PwC team sat together, looked at the feedback which we have received from the last year, from the jury, and the feedback which we got from the industry. And based on that, the categories were defined, and also the parameters which need to be evaluated for this year, those were decided. And as part of the process, for these, there are 3 segments. As you know, we have product segment, we have LEA segment, we have corporate segment, and overall there are 21 categories where the awards will be announced today. As part of the process, so once we have all these categories and the parameters which are freezed, the questions are there, they are up on the DSCI website. The industry reach out is done both by PwC as well as DSCI to make sure we get the maximum participation from the industry. And once we receive the nomination, as we know, we got the highest number of nomination this year, which is 288, which is up from last year 255. So the number has gone up, and every year we have seen the benchmark is going up, and the quality of response, that is like at a different level this year when we go through all these 288 nomination forms. So DSCI and PwC teams sat together, looked at this, tried to put down the summary, and we picked up 3 or 4 top nomination in each category. These nominations are presented to the jury. In the corporate segment, we are thankful to the jury. They were able to spend time. We were able to do that meet in person. We did that. And for each category and each awards, there is a deliberation which happens. Jury went through each and every parameter, each and every nomination, asked questions. DSCI and PwC team responded. And based on that, jury decided the top selection and top finalists in that particular category. So that was the process which was followed in the month of December for all the 3 categories. The jury met and decided this. So what we have seen as a summary, when you go through all these 288 nominations, and there's a lot of information, a lot of insight, we have seen that although there's a war for talent this year, but there is a lot of innovation which the organizations have done in terms of making sure how they are able to automate the processes, how they are able to actually reskill the people, and how they are able to leverage the technology across the ecosystem. So that's a lot of learning, and obviously as part of the process, we also publish the learnings coming out from each segment and each category, so that will be published. So this is just to give you an overview of the entire process. Thank you.